non-duality, we carry that over into the immediate realm beyond here, which is, you call it the astral, you call it the dream world, whatever you want to call it, the non-physical space which is closest to this one. So when we project out, we move straight into that space, the non-physical world which is closest to this one. That's why if you have an out-of-body experience, consciously moving into that space, you generally appear in the same spot of a non-physical environment, which is a copy of where you are. So generally your bedroom, or if you're out meditating somewhere, it may be there. But you move into that space first, don't you? And then sort of deeper you move into the experience, the more it seems to be able to be modulated and altered and stuff like that. And listen to a lot of stuff, different people's perspectives and whatever else. And there's a sort of general sort of view, it seems anyway, that a lucid dream is in some way lesser than an out-of-body experience or something like that. But then on the same token, you've got people who will say, and I agree with, the deeper you go, the more thought responsive the environments become. So the deeper you go, if the more thought responsive the environments become, that would mean that a lucid dream is perhaps deeper into the space than the initial OBE. So if you're into a space which is more thought responsive and it's more subtle and you can change things more with just thought alone, it would seem that you're already deeper in. And I'll tell you why I would suggest that as well. Is that when you travel consciously into an OBE, you come out of your body, you move into that initial environment, which is the same as the physical. The further in you go away from your physical surroundings, away from the body and whatever else, into that experience, the more it becomes pretty much like a lucid dream, same. But you've had no break in the awareness as you've crossed over. Whilst if you have a lucid dream, you're already asleep, you're already dreaming, so you're already further in, and then something's triggered you and you've woke up within it. So then you're in that space which is perhaps more thought responsive. So theorizing against the grain of a lot of stuff, but perhaps that's already deeper within the space. That's what I feel about it anyway. And it's not to say one's better than the other, because they're just different entry points as far as I'm concerned as to how you get there. But one, I would say you're already asleep. You've already gone through that process. You've already stepped further into the non-physical environment, if you like. Because obviously, there's what we move into when we move into that space, whether it's straight direct from waking, OBE stuff, or whether it's from a trigger later on in a lucid dream. We're moving into still form-based environment. So a form-based environment is an environment like this, where there's me and this stuff, and I can interact with that stuff, and I can interact with those other people, and it's all very familiar, and it's much like it is here, where we just, can interact with things and people and places. Different rules, obviously. In there, you can fly or just, wander through a wall or something like that. Those sorts of things you can do, but ultimately, those spaces closest to here are still form-based, aren't they? And then beyond that, one would think you're getting closer to the substructure. And the substructure beyond that is beyond
thought and beyond embodiment.
And beyond form.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a different space altogether. And in that space is where you find those non-duality spaces that we spoke about, that space where you can connect to something that is beyond.
Like the void, if you like.
The void, yeah.